Okay, so this is my audience for my third and final speech. That is Matthew. He is one of my friends from high school. Then there's Brock. That's my brother's friend. And then there's my brother. That's Jaden. And then there's Jordan.
Hello.
That's my boyfriend. Then there's my mom. It's Rhonda. And then there's, of course, the dog Precious. And then there's Colin.
How you do?
My other friend from high school. So let's get this show on the road. There's that.
Alright. To do. Hi, Precious.
Okay. So, I am doing my final speech over why people should have dogs in their life and why they should adopt them. There's a lot of reasons on why people should adopt rather than buy, because there's a lot of conditions. It also depends, all of the conditions of the shelters. That's one of the main reasons that I used to volunteer at the animal shelters. Is I just wanted to know a lot more about animals and what they go through, how they get into the shelter, how they get out of the shelter, just kind of all the process between everything. And then another reason that I want to talk about why people should adopt dogs is because of the cost. It's normally a lot less to adopt than it is to buy, because when you're buying it from someone, a pure breed is a lot more expensive than when you're just adopting to help save an animal's life instead of them being killed, which is another reason I was going to talk about, which is the kill shelters, which, in case if you don't know what that means, is when a shelter is overfilled and they don't have enough room for dogs or other animals in the shelter, where they have to put them down because they just don't have enough room for them, or even other shelters don't have enough room for them. So that's kind of why I'm wanting to talk about why people should adopt than buy. So according to sfgate.com, in 2009, investigators found animals starving to death. This is kind of somewhat shocking, but then again it's not, because a lot of animal cruelty is a big deal in this world now. And whenever they get put into a shelter, they're more likely to be treated a lot better than whether if they're found outside on the street or in a yard or even in a barn or something. If you're in a shelter, they're treated the best they can, especially by the people who work there. And I feel like they're just in a better home until they are able to be bought and be treated the way they should be and everything. So the next one I'm going to talk about is the cost. Cost is a big difference that I realized definitely when I volunteered there. There was just so many donations that people make. It's just people will come and donate, or they can help by raising money and fundraisers and everything to help lower the cost of other animals that have been there longer, or have had certain incidents, or if they have certain medications they have to be on, just kind of depending on each and every animal. It just kind of depends on what the animal you are looking for. And yes, I know that some animals aren't always in the shelters at certain times, but it also kind of just depends on what you're looking for. So, according to PetsTheNest.com, 0 to 150 is about the range from adoption. That's probably the highest that I've ever seen someone pay for a dog was about 200, but that's just in our local animal shelter, so it kind of just depends kind of where you go, what kind of city or state you live in. It kind of all just depends on that, but I think overall for the cost, it's probably better to adopt than buy, because with pure breeds or other breeds that from other people, they will overcharge just because of the kind of dog there is. But that's that one. And then kill shelters. Kill shelters is a big deal with people, because I was saying, that if shelters don't have enough room, they will kill dogs. And so the more we can get out of the shelters, the better it will be for the dogs and people to kind of help rescue and everything. Because if you rescue dogs, it's a really big deal to the people in the shelters, because I know that they're going to a home where that dog can live, or even another animal like that where they can live, and know that it's going to be okay, and that they don't have to worry about putting them down or giving them certain medications to help keep them alive, because they're in the shelter for a certain reason. And shelter intake is another big thing too with the kill system, because most of the time the dog percentages go up during the summer and kind of go up during the wintertime too, but they're kind of off a little bit lower during the fall and the springtime, even though that is mating season for dogs. And during the winter they also get cold and will die outside, and so it's another time that the levels go up. And so that's like another big deal as well when adopting to also know. But according to ahines.com, inflow of animals greater than availability homes, which is really wrong because there's nothing that people can do except for just adopt, because if they do not have room for in that shelter, then they don't have room, and they will ask other shelters too. It kind of just depends on how far another shelter is or how much time they have to travel to another shelter, just depending on how like old the dog is and the range of size and everything for that capability of it. So basically, overall, adopting is a really big deal instead of buying from other people. And yes, you have friends that like have kittens or have dogs that like all that stuff and everything, but adopt can be the better way to go because you're saving animals' life and also making their life as well too. And that's kind of all basically on why people should adopt and everything. So thank you for listening.